Good evening. I'm Dick Brennan in for Jessica Moore.
And I'm Christine Johnson. We begin tonight with that mass shooting at a church filled with children.
Police say the shooter opened fire as students packed Annunciation Catholic Church for morning mass. An 8-year-old and a 10-year-old were killed. 17 other people were injured. The FBI director says it's investigating the shooting as an act of domestic terror and a hate crime targeting Catholics. This tragedy has sparked a massive investigation and raised new questions about school safety nationwide.
We have team coverage here tonight. Doug Williams will look into how schools here in New York are addressing safety concerns. Lana Zach is live from the scene in Minneapolis. Let's begin here in studio with investigative reporter Tim McNicholas with the very latest on the investigation. Tim.
Christine and Dick, police say of those 17 injured victims, 14 of them are children, and at least 2 of those children were in critical condition earlier today. All of those victims are expected to survive. 2 other kids, ages 8 and 10, are dead after a 23-year-old man armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol fired into the windows of the church, then shot and killed himself. Horrified parents held their children tight as they left the Annunciation Catholic Church and school. The shooting happened during a mass to mark the beginning of the school year.
I think I got like gunpowder on my neck.
Alongside his grandfather, 5th grader Weston Halsney shared what he saw and heard in the church.
The first one, I was like, what is that? I thought it was just something. Then when I heard it again, I just ran under the pew. And then I covered my head. My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit.
He says that friend is now in the hospital. Police say they're still investigating the motive of 23-year-old shooter Robin Westman. CBS News has learned he attended the school, and his mother worked at Annunciation as a secretary and administrative assistant before retiring in 2021. Minneapolis police say they've found other guns at homes connected to the shooter, and they're aware of a manifesto that Westman released on YouTube.
That content has since been taken down with the assistance of the FBI, and it now remains under active review by our investigators.
Don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence.
A man who was driving to work near the church told CBS News Minnesota he heard about 20 gunshots, then saw a man running for his life.
We said, are you okay? Do you want to come in the car with us? And he said, yes, please. He said, someone's shooting at me. Someone's shooting at me. And so we get in the car and we just ask him what's going on. He said that a man dressed in all black was firing shots.
CBS News has reached out to YouTube about the account and those videos, which have now been removed. We've learned the videos included weapons, attack plans, suicidal thoughts, racist comments, and violent statements directed at President Trump. Christina, Dick.
All right, Tim, thank you. And the flag at the White House right now is lowered to have staff in tribute to the victims in Minneapolis. The president also ordered flags lowered at federal buildings and military locations across the country and all U.S. territories until sunset, August 31st.
This was the start of a new school year with the theme, A Future Filled with Hope. The principal of Annunciation says there's nothing today that can fill them with hope, but he highlighted heroism.
Within seconds of this situation beginning, our teachers were heroes. Children were ducked down. Adults were protecting children. Older children were protecting younger children. As we heard earlier, it could have been significantly worse without their heroic action. This is a nightmare, but we call our staff the Dream Team.
The Minneapolis police chief said all of the victims have a range of injuries but are expected to survive. And Pope Leo XIV released a statement saying he's profoundly saddened by the school shooting. The Vatican says he, quote, sends his heartfelt condolences and the assurance of spiritual closeness to all those affected by this terrible tragedy, especially the families now grieving the loss of a child.
What happened today certainly hits close to home across the country, including here in New York, as students get ready to head back to the classroom.
And this comes as a cell phone ban goes into effect for the first time at New York City's public schools. Doug Williams joins us now with more on the reaction. Doug.
Dick and Christine, Mayor Adams reacted on social media to the news out of Minneapolis by saying that schools should be sanctuaries. But as students across our area head back to class this week and next, This tragic reminder of the risk of gun violence joins a list of other concerns that parents might be having as to whether a sanctuary is even a realistic goal for what school can feel like in 2025. Wednesday morning, City Schools Chancellor Melissa Aviles-Ramos spoke about safety in a different context at a rally focused on ICE enforcement and immigrant students.
Our schools are safe places.
As the chancellor spoke, our country was reminded in horrific fashion how quickly the level of safety can change when a gunman opened fire through the windows while school children were attending Mass at a church in Minneapolis Wednesday morning. Sister Mary Grace Walsh, the superintendent of schools for New York's Archdiocese, said in a statement in part, quote, "As we pray for those affected, we remain committed to the safety and well-being of every student in our own schools. We look forward to welcoming them to a safe environment for the first day of school next week." New York City's public school system, the largest in the country, also starts the school year next week, but without cell phones for the first time under state law. City and state officials have insisted that in emergency situations, parent communication can actually distract students from following school protocol.
If there is an urgent message, someone in the school will make sure that your child gets that message.
I do have those fears, but I have no other option at this point but just to trust that the schools know what they're doing.
I would rather have my mom worried about me in a school shooting and it turning out to be wrong than me getting shot.
Gino Raffaero is the CEO of SaferWatch School Safety Technology, assisting nearly 4,000 schools across the country with things like silent panic buttons and digital mapping.
Second that button's pressed, 911, local law enforcement, local authorities are getting notified, but also all the people on the campus can actually be notified instantly.
The thing that fits one doesn't necessarily fit all, but in conversations with different companies that do this very work, we're looking at ways by which we can sort of scale up what exists now.
So in addition to researching these school security laws in your state, experts recommend that parents ask school administrators about the presence of armed guards as well as the safety protocols, how often they're practiced, and whether panic buttons or digital mapping technologies of the campus are used in contact with law enforcement. Dick, Christine?
It's just awful that this is how the school year starts.
I know. It's such an anxious time for parents already.
All right.
Doug, thank you. The country certainly joins those grieving in Minneapolis tonight.
We continue our team coverage with a live look from Minnesota. National CBS correspondent Lana Zak joins us now. Lana, awful, heartbreaking. Give us a sense of the loss there tonight.
Good evening, Dick and Christine. It is something you can almost feel, the heaviness of the situation here outside of the church, which is just over my shoulder. A moment before, we heard a single church bell ring, and there was just a sigh that came out from everybody that was assembled here. The feeling of tragedy, of heartbreak that exists in every one of these school shootings is both common and totally unique. And in this case, the school and the church was a linchpin of this part of the community. And you heard that from the principal. When he gave remarks, he spoke directly to the students with a simple message that they are loved, while everyone today is demanding more action being taken instead of just additional thoughts and prayers.
I'm curious how this community is coming together here on this day of such tragedy. Oftentimes when we see such heartbreak and in situations like this, even close-knit communities rise up and become even closer.
Yeah, we are expecting to attend in just a little bit at 8 o'clock tonight a vigil that is being put on by Man's Demand Action. That's a national group that came out in support of common sense gun control measures, particularly focused on areas like schools and churches, which are supposed to be places that are safe for children, for families to gather, to be with with loved ones, to be with friends, to be learning, to be praying. They will be gathering together. We will hear from community members. We'll hear from people who attended the school, and we'll hear those messages of grief. There is some good news, which is that all 14 of the children who were transported to area hospitals are now expected to make it. They are expected to live. Of course, there is still that 8-year-old and that 10-year-old who were killed in the pews, who will never be coming home to their families.
Loss. Lana Zuck in Minneapolis. Thank you so much, Lana.
The Archbishop of New York, Timothy Cardinal Dolan, called the shooting disturbing, writing, "We pray for an end to all violence in our hearts, in our communities, and in our world." And the mayor also released a statement on this tragedy, writing in part, "This is yet another painful reminder that we must do more to get guns off our streets." Stay with us for continuing coverage on this school shooting. We will have much more ahead at 5:30, also on our website, cbsnewyork.com.